Okay, what's up, Go enthusiasts? Can you hear me? Yes, you can. Okay, great. Hello, 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 everybody. I am here to... Yes. I'm here to commentate. This game started a while ago. I didn't get to see the beginning of it. It's Guanyu Song versus Chiu. These two are very, very, very good players. I think they're both top 10 in North America, for sure. So at least that's where I have them. They're very good. The game right now is pretty interesting. Sorry, give me a moment. Okay. So the left side is black, the bottom side is black, bottom left corner is white. White has some corners throughout. Black has the upper right corner, that's fine. White has this wall. Black has a group there in front of it. Black also has a group on the right side, and there's a cut here, and white is building power on the top side there. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, since I haven't seen any of the beginning part of the game, I don't know if anyone is leading. Usually you use your sense of the story of the game to figure out who's leading. Right now it's white to play, by the way. Guanyu Song hovers his hand over his bowl. So what I'm going to do first is a sort of basic count, and we'll see if I can figure out if anybody has the advantage. First, let's look at the left side here. So when you count, first thing you have to do is read to figure out where the borders are. So if you look at the left side, it's pretty obvious where this border is, but the border over here is kind of fuzzy, you know? That one is unclear. So to figure that one out, we have to think about what's going to happen when white cuts. If white pushes and cuts over there, so at the moment, white can play cut like this. Black can't play here because it would break. And obviously, if you get captured on those two stones, white would be very, very comfortable. This is definitely going to be good. So you're not going to see... you're not going to see black do anything other than this one. And white's going to get this cut whenever he likes. After that, there's a classic kick here, which is normally forcing for this one. And then this is usually more similar to what the boundary is going to be than what you'd look at sort of directly. So over there, what I'm going to account for the boundary is that it goes like this, and then it's here. And then black has the potential to reduce that upper left area and maybe even build some territory there. White could also go there. Wait, this wall is actually not that thick, now that I think about it, now that I'm looking at it. But anyway, if you just start counting, then we have to figure out how many points that black has over there. Oh, let me, by the way, get the chat open properly. Great. Sometimes instead of kick, white can just extend and kill. That's true. So pointing out in the chat that sometimes white will do it this way, and then black can sometimes get caught. In this case, black's not going to get caught, but if white was like a lot stronger here, if we added a couple stones in a row for white, sorry, yeah, you can imagine that that could sometimes die. So that's a good reason not to kick. You're often going to see black stopping you if you don't take something right away. I think that black is pretty soon going to play over there. Okay, white's playing a forcing move on the bottom side. But let's ignore that for now and just look at what's happening on the left and count it. So let's see. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like about About 16 points for black there. In the upper right corner, black is surrounded. Black could fight out that surround, but most of the time, I would expect white S2 to be Sente. So again, we read first before we count. Most of the time, I'm expecting AB gets exchanged. Like white is going to play here, and black's going to play there. And then black will be very clearly alive, very cleanly alive. And, you know, black can push through first. We can have this exchange as well. This is my expectation for the boundary there. Then black is going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, about 10 points on the top side. It's probably fair to count black at 10. Over here on the right side, this one is actually quite interesting. Quite an interesting space. Yeah, this is very unclear what's happening over here. Maybe I can say what will happen if black connects and then is safe here. Or, you know, black can also push through and connect through this side. That's why black is not worrying about it right now. But the right side is also weak. If white cuts here, I think black would have to answer that. Otherwise, this peep. So I'm thinking if white cuts and black is trying to save it on the other side, this peep might kill. It's a very dangerous, at least. By the way, if I do this, does that mess up the coordinates for you guys? Let me just check. I hope it does not. It looks like it doesn't. Looks like it's okay for you. All right. Yeah, here the white groups on the outside aren't that thick, so it's possible black can survive using the outside weaknesses. But for now, it looks like white is definitely going to be able to make some kind of life and death problems, even if it goes like this, which would be the minimal way. Actually, there's other ways as well. So the right side is quite thin. But if we assume black gets to play here and gets to be alive, how many points is that? The boundary should still be that we push there, I think. Those should be most of the time white Sente. So black has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, about 5 points, maybe. So we had about 18 over here, about 10 here, probably about 5 over here. It's going to change depending on whether black is making a space or not. By the way, white's shoulder hit here, black has still not responded to. The threat that white has is very serious, so it's slightly surprising that black doesn't respond. White is not going to just push and allow black to hane an answer, but white is going to play this one. And that means that it's going to be an extra bad exchange if black really does try to do it this way. And even it's possible that 5 goes at 6 and is very murderous here. So this would be extremely bad for black to allow. I'm quite sure black should not be ignoring. And the only decision that I think he really has is to play push here or push on the other side. He's choosing to make a bad exchange first. So when I say it's a bad exchange, what I mean is this move is not clearly going to contribute to what he's doing next. He's trying to like run out his group on the other side. But what it's also done is it's made it so that he cannot break through this area after he answers. So whether he answered here or here, he would have some potential to break through. He's decided to go on this side first. I think the reason why he's doing it is because he's thinking if he would break through, white would just ignore him later anyway. So he's saying like, oh, this is the only moment where you're actually going to care about those, and this is therefore the only moment, the only timing for me to be able to play in the center at all. But that doesn't mean that it's good for him. Even if he can do it, and this is the only time, that still doesn't make it that it's definitely what you're supposed to do. And I don't think it is. White has a few options here. I think the most challenging is obviously this one. If he goes like that, then black is likely still going to have to answer to this quite quickly. For example, if black would Hane out here, then white could immediately play to the bottom side. Even can white still do the thing? It's kind of difficult for me to tell. I'm not sure whether after this white can immediately play here or not. Looks like maybe not. Maybe. I think so, actually. I think this would still be good for white. I'm looking at what happens when you play here, here, here. So if it goes this way, then you can see that black would be getting away with it. It would be good for black, right? Anyway, this is probably not what's going to happen in the game because that's still allowing this one regardless. And it wouldn't be that meaningful to capture a stone on the outside when you're going to be forced to live over here anyway. And then you still have to suffer with this bottom left group. That's the main problem here, is the bottom left group is really not going to want to answer to these kinds of moves. Also, when white runs out here, it means a lot for surrounding the top side as well. So it's like a little too aggressive what he's doing here. Anyway, let's continue to count. So if we assume something simple happens where white just connects, it should be really lame. Say white just connects and black answers. How much do we expect the black bottom side to be? We should look at the boundary over here. Usually this ends up going like that, roughly. And then the boundary on the right side. Because white is so thick, it's more likely to be white's sente than black sente, especially whatever is happening in the fighting right now. Looks like white is going to be getting a benefit. So I'm going to count it like this. Excuse me. Okay, that's an interesting move. That was just played in the game. Let me finish my count real quick. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then the top side as well. 2, 3, 4. So I think if you add the bottom side and then the upper left group, which I haven't counted yet, together, you should get about 25 to 30 points, both of them combined. And obviously it changes a lot depending on what's happening in the fighting here. So in total, that means black has about 18 to 20 on the left, 25 on the bottom, 10 in the upper right, 5 on the right, and the 25 counted the other thing. So that's 30, 40, 60. Yeah, black's looking at about 60 points. Okay, this is very interesting, by the way. This is exactly what Guanyu was allowing on purpose. And wow, this is not what I was expecting to be done there. So it turns out this is very surprising to me. Guanyu played A, looking to press black down. Black played at B, and Guanyu answered, allowing black to play at D. Then why did we play at A? We should have played at C first. And then B is still kind of reasonable. We don't have to play A, D. That's crazy. I mean, B is not that reasonable, but it's still kind of crazy what's happening here. My goodness. Okay, well, we have something crazy. After that, the reason why Guanyu did it is because he was like, this way I can make a cut here. And because I extended, that cut is going to be forcing for the life and death on the right side. That's what he's talking about. And now this is very interesting, what they're doing. Very, very, very interesting. How do I... Oh, can I press this? Uh-oh. Have I disconnected? I don't think I have. I cannot clear the triangles. I'm struggling a bit here. Oh, there we go. Somehow, I think it was my fault. Okay, they should be cleared. Um, okay, exciting. Exciting what's happening here. Let me count white just to see what's happening. So if we assume black is alive on the right side and alive on the top side, then white only has the bottom left and some small territories. So by the top side, I mean basically if that group and that group are alive for black right now, it should be a disaster for white. That is definitely a bold assumption. A very bold assumption. So if white only captures one of them, let's say this one, white would still be getting a huge chunk here. And then 60 points or so that black has wouldn't be enough. I mean, black is building more on the bottom side, but with white having Komi and, a couple corners, there's no way. The corner is only 13, but that area, if it gets captured, would be 10, 20, 30, 40, almost 50. With Komi in corners, it's white leading for sure. They're both down to 4 minutes, so this is very exciting. And the question of whether black is fine on the right is very difficult, because the peep is a good question. If black plays push here, which is a great move, to start attacking the white top side while you save the black group on the right side. Awesome move. Then white can try to play, not, sorry. I have the wrong tool, that's why. White can try to play here. And then if black connects on the outside, white can try to kill it all. There's a few ways to try. Probably best way is just like this. Oops. Darn it. I'm messing up. Oh, we have push here. Now that's interesting. Push means he wants to cut like that and allow black to fix. At this point, is black literally alive? Let me check. It is literally alive. There's nothing that white can do. So now black is fully alive. If white had gone the other way, black would have been fighting on the outside first, rather than to start with, with some inside stuff. But it's interesting he actually does this, because this way, now we're a little unclear. I think the only way to make this comfortable for white, or playable for white, should be to try to run through here and use the still existing potential Sente down there. So like this, you can see some eye shape forming for white in the corner. Yeah, so I believe white would be okay. And he doesn't do it. He does it this way instead. This way allowing black to connect here. He's saying he's still alive here, but I'm not sure. Let me check. There would be fine. Looks like he is alive. So this is still alive in the bottom right, huh? Directly. So after this, when white plays away, then black best move to attack should be this one, because the ko is not very good, because there's another ko. It ends up being double ko, what you're talking about in the chat here. If it goes like this, black would need to play like that. White is getting enough space here. You can see when white connects here, white would have the space. Sorry, I messed up. So if later on when black answers here, when white tanukis, if black tries this ko, and to make a ko like that here, then white can play like that and at least make double ko to be alive. So either white wins this ko, or when black captures, white captures this one. That would be a sad way to live. You would want more. You would want to win the co, but white is not like dead. This is an important thing to know about. So black is considering not saving these stones, even though it seems like a no-brainer, because he's thinking about the life and death afterwards and thinking, man, I can't actually kill this white group. So white is clearly going to connect there. And white is actually building something in the center, and it's not like he can get an obvious advantage out of the bottom right. It was not a bad plan by white, I guess. He managed to take some outside influence and actually get Sente. There's still a potential break on the bottom side here. Actually, it was possible to directly think about playing here, wasn't it? There. So it looks like after this, it would be wedge now. And probably black is okay. So white doesn't really have that much good stuff to do here. Black is just going to reduce the center. White uses this Sente first. That's interesting. If black had Atari'd and white connects here, then that could have been a point more for black in the corner, or on the right side and in the corner. And like this area could be a point smaller. But it would also take away a black liberty. And almost certainly black wasn't going to do that while this group was still not clear that it was okay. Because this one liberty can actually matter a lot often when it comes to surrounding this white group in the center. So it's interesting white played it quickly there. He did have it as his right all the time. Black was never supposed to play it. So it makes sense, I think, what happened in the game. And now white has gone for this cut. In some way, he needed to capture those top side stones for the territory balance to be okay. So he's chosen a crosscut in order to accomplish the capture, hoping that it's going to be big enough. This is about the minimal way that you could capture the inside stones. Black is just going to give white some credit. Perhaps it is going to be good for black at the end. So now we can count this white area. And this move is huge. This move is enormous that white never got around to going there. Although it is a little surprising that black chose this way and not playing at c3 first. Because if I were white, I would want to play c3 right now. As the answer to that move in the upper left corner. Black c3 usually puts more pressure on, and then coming back to connect, even if you're going to do the same thing. Anyway, let's count how big this center capture was for white. So white managed to kill those stones. And later, we should probably expect that white is going to get this Sente. Then white has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. About 30 points there in the center. Let's say roughly 4 points in the bottom right. And it's about 12, right? In the bottom left. I don't know exactly how to count it. I really should. So it happens all the time. There's definitely a number that people know, but I forgot it. Anyway, it looks like white should be white should be behind then. Sorry, not leading. White should be behind in the territory balance, especially since black is the first one to play in the upper left here and is putting a lot of pressure now on the white groups. White uses this cut first. This cut means that when black cuts through the center there, it will fill the liberties, and there will be no way to actually finish a cut, not cleanly, unless black plays A, B, C, which is nuts. But it could happen, actually. Guanyu is scary. Sometimes he does some crazy stuff. Or Jeremy is scary. They're both scary. So, thinking about how to answer to that, white eventually plays this empty triangle. What it means is that now if black plays here, white could play away, and black would not be able to push and cut that. However, when black plays here, the threat is actually this one. It's just kind of interesting. Even though you have this sente, it doesn't do anything. So white would have this one as his right, and he'd have to play connect in this way. But at the end, you can see it becomes an L shape, and white would be dead. So even though this is sort of supposed to be prevented by that white move, it's probably still a good move for black. I guess the right way for white to handle that will be like d2 answer. Okay, in the meantime, we have black playing that diagonal move, which sets up the potential annoying ko here. There's definitely a chance that that could be sente for black, but it's unlikely. Oh, give me a moment, guys. Maybe white should g2 probe rather than play the empty triangle. It burns your eyes. Yeah, this last empty triangle move by white does not look very fun. That one is not a fun move to look at. But there weren't that many good options. So the chat suggestion is to play here. That means that if black answers, at least we're going to be happy to the top side. And then when we answer back, maybe it's similar, but we have a better chance of putting pressure on this black group later. That one's a possible move, but I'm not exactly sure about what white was going to do if black just blocked anyway. It doesn't make anything clearly good in the center. Finally, Jeremy chooses to peep first. It's interesting. When white, sorry. Oh, something's, wait, there we go. If white would answer to that, white usually gains some eye shape and is somewhat satisfied. White didn't answer to that in this case. Oh, we have interesting happenings here. White chose to force black to play that move, which is sente, on his own cut. It's quite confusing, honestly. I don't quite get it. What white has undertaken here. Looks like he's going to then come back and try to fix at d2, which is probably his best fit. Or maybe he wants to fix here first and then forcefully say, I will not live. Yes. Black chooses the shape rather than the the connection, the solid connection. I don't think you needed that eye shape, so I'm pretty sure that the solid connection at f2 is better because white is often going to be blocking at d2 here. And it would be nice to get better endgame. It does look like white is losing control of the game overall, regardless. White now gets the next move, and he is solidly connected through here, and he can run. However he chooses, whether it's turn or diagonal through. He chooses to turn, but black can still play from the center. So black is holding this potential that he has to cut over white's head. He's not committing on it. He's in fact allowing white, if he wants to connect through very solidly. That's black's plan, because black knows he actually doesn't need much from his attack in the upper left. He's already gotten some territory benefit. He's already okay, as long as he gets some amount of control in the center. And he's absolutely getting that with the threatened cut over here. So now when he connects back this way, if white would just connect, that would suck. But if white doesn't connect, then there's so much control of the center here. This is a very difficult position for white, and they're both down to 2 minutes. Guanyu's down to 1 minute on his clock. It's going to be time pressure while black has a large territory advantage already. Very scary. Guanyu chooses to pinch. So rather than solidly connecting, he's looking at maybe there can be some kind of problem for the life and death of the black topside. Maybe I could capture some stones in order to save myself here. Because the white right side is very strong, as long as the left side saves by capturing some stones or however, then it would still be satisfying. It's definitely a more intense way to play. Leaving another weakness and making the game a bit more complicated seems to be Guanyu's solid, or well, not solid, but his style when he's behind and trying to bring the game back. Black with the simple jump as recommended by Telegraph. Of course you should do it, because this is the area where those stones are going to get attacked and where these stones are going to get attacked. They both wanted to run that way. So it's very pleasant to get the control of this area. And if you can make those stones into a box here, that's overpowered. These stones, they should all have to run to the bottom side. All of their debts add to white's value in the game. But if you manage to connect them all together, so you only have to run one time, or even so that you don't have to run it all while you just get a territory here, that's saving a lot of value in the form of your opponent's attack, right? White could try to get thickness here, get thickness here, by forcing these stones to save themselves, but it's not so easy when black takes all the strength in that area first. Now Guanyu looks like he's having some trouble figuring out how to play. He needs to play aggressively. Yeah. But he leaves behind a weakness over here, so it's always going to be a bit painful to figure out how to take care. This is a strong move. It's very ambitious by white. He has to be ambitious. If he can get all of this area, then he can absolutely make a comeback in the game. Jeremy might still give it anyway in hopes to get a trade here, because it's not easy to run these stones out. It's not easy to establish a cut on those stones. It is possible that some move over here for white is Sente, threatening to go down. There. There's still something happening when white plays here, where black wants to wedge. Black wants to... Sorry. Black wants to cut like this. This is going to keep all of that area clean. But if any move, like changes that for white, it's possible that white could break into the bottom side and make some counter threats there, some very serious threats. And then the whole bottom right endgame, or bottom right life and death, becomes important too. Now white played a Sente move at L2 that bought him time, I believe. This is Fisher time. Both players are under a minute. They're going to be blitzing from here. You can see some nervous hand movements from Guanyu. Wow, and he just solidly connects here. I'm very surprised. I'm very surprised. That doesn't seem correct compared to the other options that he had available to him to try to thicken with a faster move, a potential move over here, and then try to thicken with general good shape. Instead, he just solidly connects, trying to make a very, very forceful movement, make it so that black must answer, and then combine that solid connect with a cover. I guess maybe he already thinks this is going to be working, and if it does, then that would be good for him. Definitely this move by Jeremy, the jump at A, seems like it was a little optimistic. So black is going to answer with this tiger's mouth, trying to threaten the corner while saving the cut. It's sharp, of course. Good to make sure that you're noticing all of the weaknesses on the board. White really wants to connect this anyway, or to cover and capture those anyway. Then later, when black gets a chance to hane here, white can only live with a ko, like this. Now white used this one to solidify his shape, however gave black an extra point or two of endgame. Maybe not the best choice, but it's hard to be the best choice. Aha, and this is more than just a ko death. I missed it, actually. It's possible Guanyu missed it, but you probably saw it. I didn't realize we don't have to hane. We can throw into the I-shaped battle point first. I wasn't even looking at it. But, of course, this makes it so that that is all black's territory. White got that, but black captured everything in the corner. So ultimately, this move, which was quite ambitious, it ends up working. It's just one bad exchange like that, but to capture the whole corner, it's way worth it. Way worth it. Now, white is going to try to attack these to make something happen. If I were black here, I think I would try this move. Jeremy agrees. Looks good. So it's hard for white to really make some strong cuts because white also has weaknesses in the center like this. And then he also has some weaknesses over here too with the cuts. If white does manage to go for the cut and make it work, then at least this one we're getting a lot of control of this side too. But I expect the Aji to be too much. I expected that if white really does go for some crazy cuts here, that white is going to end up dead. That tiger's mouth over here, crushing answer. The white solid connect turns to be really bad. Oh. This way, white is trying to make a life, but Jeremy sniffs it out. There's nothing. Guanyu hoped there would be some more complications in that variation, but not really. The chat says that OGSAI declares black leading by about 10. Black is definitely leading. Black managed to capture the bottom right, and at cost of this, that wasn't enough. White is trying his best to come back right now. This is desperation, not just because the clock says 30 seconds, but also because he needs to make something happen. Now Jeremy gets to read. Try to find something. Jeremy is a very, very good reader. Very good fighter. This might be a tough test. It looks like here, what's going to happen when white answers is that black can cut that way. That's Sente. White needs to answer. Then black can play Atari, and cut this way. Then white has 2 outside liberties. There's 1 shared liberty, and white cannot kill the inside. So it looks like black is going to be able to cut successfully there. White is just using some Sente moves in order to gain time. That Sente move is very painful. But he's noticed here when he does this that he won't be able to cut. Reason why black can't play on this side is because now there's going to be this one and a throw in. So if, sorry. Yeah. If black throws in there and white captures, then ultimately it gets covered. So this cut here is just working. That's why Guanyu, reading that, knowing that, he has no choice but to give up on his potential cut over here. The only thing. Jeremy very good at Sumego? Yeah, he is. He's excellent at Sumego. And you're seeing how it helps him win. Look at that. Clean, figuring out the cut over here, clean over here as well. And now white goes for the bottom side with this. And black is just going to press white back a bit. Is there a possible cut again here? That would be nuts if so. Almost certainly not. He's thinking about what's going to happen with the cut going all the way through here for those stuns as well. It's like not that unreasonable, guys. There's a possibility here. Yeah, let me remove the things. So there's a possibility that it goes here and here and here and here. Now white has only 1 outside liberty. There's 3 liberties there. This black has 5. So technically white has 4 and black has 5 here. It becomes a race sort of against the middle black, but that race is not easy because black can try to make an eye as well. So it looks like Jeremy is definitely reading all this out right now. Looks like if Jeremy goes for this cut, it is actually going to work with the potential to attack the entire right side white. It's basically, this is all because white exchanged this one as his time Suji earlier on. That lost him a liberty, which is now losing him a capture ace when black cuts. Jeremy backs off. Doesn't do it. Looks like a Seki inside. You think it could be? So, let's see. If Jeremy had chosen this one, and cut, and here, capture, Atari. Was there a chance for white to go back in Atari here? Is that what you're talking about? It goes like this. Anyway, black needs to go here. You think it's a Seki, that means white needs to play here. And then black cannot get enough liberties. If it's only a temporary Seki, then it doesn't do anything, and it's probably better to play away, but... Ultimately, white fixes. Make sure that stuff can't happen. Okay. Well, I'm not sure whether that was a chance or not. Jeremy seems to think it wasn't. The chat seems to think it wasn't. I think maybe. Might have been a chance. Not sure. Hard to tell. After that, this has become very solidly white's area. So white has all of that. And white has this. But black has all of this part. And that, yeah, and that. Something. So on the top side, looks like black has about 15 points all put together. The left side should be about 23. And the bottom side should be like 65, the bottom right, something like that. So in total, black's looking at far over 100, 110 or so. White is still looking at a lot too. White has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looks like about 75 in the center. And bottom left corner, which now is worth about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Should be worth about 10. And Comey. Looks like black is leading by about 10 to 12. More like, yeah. More like 12, maybe. Should be black's victory at this stage of the game. Black cannot save the bottom left 3 stones. If black tries, white can use a shortage of liberty. It always will be covered and captured. So the best way is just to push and use your outside value and allow white. So after this, we expect white to cover this way. If white doesn't cover like this and instead plays here, black can still come from this side to force white to fill and capture these stones. So it doesn't do anything for white to get anything bigger than just blocking like that. But black is happy to push because it gives black territory a little bit more on the bottom side there. Looks like J2 might be the last big move here. Oh, he chooses to Hana here. Is that going to be Sente? Let me look at it. It's going to be... Is that going to be Sente? There. It looks like no. Not sure why he's doing that. Looks like if he aims at this one, white can always play here. So I really don't see why he believed that was important. Looks like that was a big mistake. Should have played here. Now white gets to be the one who plays here. That was a lot bigger if this was not Sente. Aha! He's aiming at this, here, here, here. Because now if white connects, then it's a big capture. So it would become a ko there to save the inside stone. So that's why white is winning the ko. That's right. There are Ataris outside that could save those stones. Very sharp. Jeremy is sharper than me by a lot. Uh-oh. Looks like we might have some technical difficulties here with the board. Or maybe not. Maybe it's just me who has technical difficulties. Okay, well, we can see the actual game. It's going as largely as expected. Black exchanged these two moves in order to make himself have far larger co-threats than just capture one stone, while White was saying that he was going to do all that. And anyway, he got it in Centa A. I don't expect him to fight the co over this A right now. Oh, he pushed here. I wonder why the push there he judges as bigger than J2. Chat says Black can capture the stone in the corner now using a snapback technique. So you throw in at T2, and then you play at R1. Let's see that. If White plays somewhere else, throw in here, 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 here. Makes a snapback. You can see that White would not be able to save the corner stones. Wow, so White messed up then when White captured here rather than defending somewhere like B. White was hoping to get some potential extra co, but actually he lost some endgame in the corner. Oops. Finally, we have the Hane endgame chosen. That was because if White had Hane'd, so if, yeah, here, let me just remove everything. If White had been the one to play here, then Black would have to answer to avoid White playing this way. That would be really annoying. You can't block. Well, you can block, but you're gonna die. So Black playing here meant White was not going to get the 2 points in the corner, and Black, because he gets the extra liberty from that, doesn't have to worry about this stuff being as annoying. This endgame should still be won by Black. And we're going to cover 3 more games today, if I understand correctly. Yeah. So this is the 3rd round, and then there's going to be a... No, this is the 4th round. This is the 4th round. And then there's going to be a 5th round and a 6th round later, which I should join you for as well. Yeah, there's 2 more rounds after this. So looks like it's going to be Black's win. I can go check on the SGF that the game recorders have here. Yep. Black is leading by 14 points, according to Katago. So I will see you later. Enjoy the rest of the game. I'll be back for round 5 and round 6. Tune in. Tune in.